Welcome back. Let's continue, shall we? Ba, 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 ba. Kira, I was hoping I might have a word with you. Ever since Turncliffe was liberated, we've been sending troops to aid in getting the town back on its feet, helping the residents, that sort of thing. We Alamegans know how hard life can be for a society struggling to stand on its own after years of imperial rule. A lot of what most people would take for granted has to be rebuilt from the ground up. While we're able to assist when it comes to providing basic resources and keeping the place safe, there are countless other problems that need attending to. If you can spare the time, we could use your help. Bless you, Akira. You really are a saint. I'm sure the people of Turncliffe will benefit from having someone like you around. Once you're ready, have a word with the usual escort. I wish you all the best. Ba, 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 ba. Fuck. Alright. So the boss roped you into helping, did he? I knew you couldn't say no. All right. Uh, it's good to be finally back on 14. Shit. So, unfortunately, due to unforeseen circumstances. Oh wait, can I still talk to this? The majority of the 6 legions are sure to be stationed in the city of Rot, the heart of the occupied territory. Whether Alphonse is there with them remains to be seen. According to Ali, another weapon lies in wait, but where we do not know, it stands to reason, however, that if we were to find it, Alphonse would surely not be far away. While I am painfully aware of the cruelty of the Empire shows its enemies, even I am appalled to hear of how it treats its own. War machina that feed on the very lives of their pilots. I can scarcely imagine anything more heinous. I think I already talked to them, but whatever. So, Endwalker is gonna be delayed by 2 weeks, so I got enough time to do stuff. Woo! You're the one who piloted that war machina and defeated the sapphire weapon, aren't you? I thought so. I have heard much about you, but I doubt you know who I am. My name is Avelina, and I grew up here. I stayed throughout the occupation and was put to work as a Magitech engineer. Thanks to you and yours, we are now rid of the Imperius, so I fear many of us will struggle to put the past behind us. For 10 long years, we suffered at their hands. A whole generation of young people were forced into the army and sent off to die in some distant land. I suppose I couldn't be considered one of the lucky few. My work here kept me away from the battlefield, and I hoped that my contributions might help the others live long enough to make their way home. In the end, most of them never returned. Though my efforts were in vain, I can at least honor their memory. I want to leave something behind for their sake, to prove that they haven't been forgotten, a monument bearing their names. To ensure that not a single person is omitted, I'd need to see the official list of conscripts if one still exists. It would be inside the Imperial facility beneath the town, but with the resistance troops and ironworks engineers closing the place off, I can't get near it. Perhaps you might have a word with them for me. I'll leave as soon as I find the list. Thank you. I'll follow your lead. I'll let you do the talking if that's all right. Something I can help you with? I see. It's a bit unusual for one of the locals to show an interest in the Imperial's leavings, but it seems she has her reasons. Since we're still carrying out our investigations, we've closed the place off to prevent anyone interfering. Considering it's you who's asking, though, I can hardly say no. Still, I better go with her, in case the others kick up a fuss. You're very kind. Were you successful? I'm sorry for any trouble I've caused. You have my thanks. Think nothing of it. I was glad to help. As I suspected, the Imperials kept detailed records of the local conscripts. One name in particular stood out to me. My friend Melisandria. I had no idea she'd been assigned to the Seventh Legion of all places. How did you know her? What do you mean of all places? It all began when we were serving together in the 14th Legion. We had much in common, both being drafted from the same occupied territory, and we soon became firm friends. Then one day she was sent to fight in Erosia, while I remained here. The day before she left, she came to say goodbye, together with her foster siblings from the orphanage. The youngest one, Rykon, was particularly upset about not being allowed to speak with their adoptive father, Gaius van Balzar, before they departed. It was actually another of his orphans, Leva Sasganias, who forbid them from seeing him. I can't say for certain, but it seemed that Livia had a strong attachment to Gaius and wouldn't let anyone else near him. As far as I could tell, he tried his best to keep Leva at arm's length whenever possible, but her devotion to him was bordering on obsession, and she became extremely jealous at the slightest sign of affection between him and his other wards. Others, however, treated them far more kindly. In fact, a praefectus castrum of the 14th Legion came specifically to meet them. Well, I was surprised that a Rogadin had risen to such a rank. I was even more taken aback by the unguarded manner in which he spoke with his subordinates. I had hoped that with people like him serving on the Eurasian front, they would be in safe hands. Then the time came for Melisandre to leave. We shared a few final words, and then she was gone. It would be the last I ever saw her. After that, I was assigned to the Tribunus Lacticavilius of the 14th Narrow Toll Scalvia, and I worked on restoring the ultimate weapon. I was even at the Praetorium on the day it was destroyed, but I escaped aboard an Imperial ship moments before it came crashing down. I eventually made my way back to Wort, only to be drafted into the 7th Legion to continue working on the weapon project. Even now, it makes me sick to my stomach that to think I'd helped bring those abominations into the world. Using a living pilot to feed the weapon's core was part of the design from the very beginning. Give me one more. Okay. Of course, they'd never dream of subjecting a true-born Guardian to such barbaric treatment. Not when the 7th Legion has a ready supply of provincial conscripts ripe from the taking. The pilots were referred to only by their codenames, and we engineers were not made privy to their true identities. Even with this list of conscripts, I still don't know who was sacrificed in the name of the weapon project. Your skills and knowledge can finally be put to good use. Let's bring an end to the weapon project together. But what can I do? For years, all I've known is how to build tools of destruction. The 7th Legion is far from finished. They're biding their time, waiting until the right moment to unleash the final weapon. And when they do, it will bring naught but death and woe to all who stand in their way. Even after everything they've taken from us, they still want more. If it weren't for the Empire, Melisandre would still be here. She was the kindest person I ever met, but to the Empire, she was another pawn in their games. I will never forget her. There's a way I can make a difference. I know there is. But first, I need to speak with members of the Ironworks. I've a feeling that war machina you used to beat the Sapphire weapon will be called into action again. Until then, there's still time to make improvements, and I intend to help. I still be going ahead with the plan to build a monument. But stopping the Empire must come first. I hope Melisandre and the others can wait a little longer. Before I go, allow me to express my gratitude. I don't know what I'd have done if it weren't for you. Until we meet again. Yep. Real audio, yes. Bum, 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 bum. So, how was your time in Turncliffe? I see. Fate has dealt her a cruel hand, but now she has a chance to make a fresh start. The same could be said of the whole of Turncliffe. It seems the liberation of that once small town will become a pivotal moment in world's history. Perhaps it won't be too long before the rest of the region is free from the Empire. Naturally, we'd be honored to fight alongside the people of Rot. We won't rest until the Imperials are sent fleeing with their tails behind their legs. Until the day arrives, we'll carry on during our bit to support you and the others in ending the weapon project. I'll be sure to pass on any pertinent information in the meantime. Take care. Ba, 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 ba. Oops. Duty in the sky with Diamond. I wasn't expecting to see you here, considering all that's been happening around about Erosia of late. Still, if you've a mind to assist us, we'd like to share the latest developments in the world. as and as luck would have it, here comes the ideal person to explain the situation. Thanks, I'll take it from here. Hey, Monago! I'm glad to see you looking so well, Akira. It's been too long, Monago. Yes, it certainly has. I haven't seen you around Rathgar's Reach much lately. Anyone would think you're trying to avoid me. No. But as much as I'd love to stand around chatting, I'm afraid I've got some serious business to discuss. Following the liberation of Turncliffe, it seems the people of Rolt also have their hearts set on freeing themselves from the grip of the Empire. Like minded citizens have rallied under the banner of Rolt revolutionaries, and they aim to dispose the 7th Legion that currently occupies the city. Their ranks include many former conscripts, and between them, they possess no small amount of combat experience. The only thing they lack is someone to lead them. After much consideration, they've decided to turn to none other than Gaius Balzar. Of course, many would balk at the thought of turning to a former enemy, and many did, but desperate times call for desperate measures. His reputation as a legatus speak for itself, and as most Alamegans will attest, he was a far more reasonable and pragmatic leader than his predecessor, the Mad King Theodoric, or his successor, Xenos, for that matter. But most importantly, he was the one who led the invasion of Rot in the first place. So who better than him to take it back? After accepting their offer, he requested the delivery of additional arms and provisions from the Alamigan resistance. We've got our hands full dealing with the Telephori, as do the rest of our allies in Eurasia, but we'll do what we can. Well, my comrades, see to the preparations. I've been assigned to meet with him in person, and I was wondering, could you accompany me to Turncliffe? Hail to the gear! Thanks, Akira. To be honest, perfectly honest, coming face to face with the Black Wolf is a rather daunting prospect, even if he has supposedly turned over a new leaf. But I'm sure having you there will make a world of difference. I believe you've acquainted with our escort, yes? Let him know when you're ready to get going. Right, where's Minago? Minago. Whatever. Another trip to Turncliffe, is it? Yes. Many of my comrades were dead against having Gaius Balzar of all people lead the charge. But as I always say, if you want a job done properly, hire a professional. After all, he's already conquered world once, so I'm certain he'll be just as successful a second time. It's been a long time coming, but finally, Rolt will throw off the shackles of imperial rule. Hey guys. Ah, Gaius Balzar, I presume. I come bearing the Alamigan Resistance official reply to your request for aid. I see. You have my thanks. Does this mean we can finally make our move? With the assistance of the Alamigans, we will soon have sufficient arms at our disposal to stand a chance at victory. But lest we forget, the 7th Legion has been conserving its strength thus far, and we must be prepared for severe casualties should its full might be brought to bear. If our lives must be the price of freedom, we will pay it willingly. Yoshan! Let me be clear. We Alamigans have not forgotten that it was you who led the invasion of our homeland. The blood of our fallen loved ones is on your hands. Even so, the people of Roth chose you to lead the revolution, and we will honor their decision. I only hope they will not come to regret it. As do I. Should I be found unworthy of their trust, I shall submit to their judgment and whatever that may entail. Forgive me, but might we return to the task at hand first? I would like to discuss the transportation of the supplies from Alamigo. This way, if you please. Once again, I prepare to lead an army into world. The irony is not lost on me. It is cruel twist of fate that these people, so desperate from years of oppression, should turn to their conqueror for salvation. For most of my life, I believed that only the Empire possessed the strength and wisdom to lead mankind. That only through great sacrifice could civilization hope to thrive. And so I led the conquest of Erosia, forcing the doctrine of Garlemald upon the ignorant and uncivilized in every territory. I sought out those with the potential for greatness, without regard for one's birth or circumstances, that they may serve the Empire. But there are those such as Valens who see being born guardian a virtue in itself, one above all others, to think that a monster such as him should be granted the position of legatus and everything that entails. It makes my blood boil. Balance brings shame upon our homeland and makes mock of the ideals it once stood for. By my hand, he shall pay for his foul crimes. We are running out of time, guys. We have to go after her. There is something I would show you, but not here. Come with me. God damn it. Gaius is such a fucking badass. I really, really like his involvement. Like, in A Realm Reborn, he's this average fucking boss that's like, oh, I'm gonna conquer everything. He's turned a new leaf. It's fucking amazing. I'm proud of him. Why did Ali have to keep this all a secret? We could have helped her. You must keep this to yourself. I do not want the soldiers to think I am being distracted by personal matters. This letter was found in her room. Dear Father, I am sorry for leaving without saying goodbye, but the thought of Alphonse suffering alone is more than I can bear. For his sake, and for the freedom of Rult, I have decided to take matters into my own hands. I know of a way to save them, a way to end it all. I have to seize this chance before it is too late. My mind is set. Please, do not try to stop me, Father. The days we spent together were the happiest of my life. And no matter what happens, nothing can take that away from me. With all my love, Allie. So she is heading to the for the 7th Legion stronghold in World. I am certain of it. Taking matters into her own hands. She must be planning to take control of one of the weapons. If so, there is no time to waste. We have to mobilize our forces and save Ali and Alphonse. I want nothing more than to save them, but I cannot ask the world revolutionaries to risk their lives to rescue 2 Imperial soldiers. In any case, if we were to rush into battle without adequate preparation, the 7th Legion would tear our partisan army to shreds. And as capable a warrior as Akira is, if she were to charge headlong into the heart of the enemy, she would be overwhelmed by sheer numbers. But if we could do something, Ali and Alphonse are as good as dead. I know, Sierra. And so did Ali when she wrote that letter. Returning alive was never part of her plan. Can you hear me? I'm in Rult, just outside Castrum Colonum. All hells have broken loose. There was an enormous explosion, and through the smoke and flames, I saw what appears to be another weapon. At this rate, the entire... Confound it! We have lost the signal. This must be what Ali spoke of in her letter. A way to end it all. Alphonse and the others were planning this from the beginning. To bring the weapon projects to completion and use it to free Rult from the Empire, even at the cost of their own lives. If the revolutionaries were to hear that a weapon has been unleashed upon the Imperial headquarters, they would see it as the perfect opportunity to strike. If it's running amok, it may not distinguish between our allies and the Imperials. A large force would draw too much attention, but the 3 of us should be able to get close enough without it noticing us. Yes, that should work. Between us, we'll find a way to save them. I can't allow it. This is my burden to bear, and I shall bear it alone. Rest assured, I have every intention of making it out alive. I'll have you know my record for surviving dangerous missions is impeccable so far. Very well. For the time being, I will have the revolutionaries stand by and await my signal. An opportunity to reclaim Rult may yet present itself, but we must first be allowed to remove the threat of this new weapon. Surya, have Sid ready the G Warrior. Understood. Once your preparations are complete, let us reconvene outside the hangar. Sometime in the 7th Legion's world headquarters. How wonderful it is to see you again, my dear. I was beginning to think that you weren't coming back. All this. In my impatience, I may have vented my frustrations on that brother of yours. I do hope you'll forgive me. Lord Valens, you mentioned before that the previous weapons were merely prototypes used to gather combat data within their cores. Yes, very good. I see you were paying attention after all. Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, the primals they absorbed, and the data they accumulated will serve a singular purpose: the completion of my masterpiece, the diamond weapon. But while you and your siblings were able to retrieve the necessary data from the rupee weapon before Gaius and his lackeys arrived, Sapphire and Emerald were handed to the enemy on a silver platter. Those worthless curs failed to meet even my exceedingly low expectations. As detailed in my report, I took it upon myself to infiltrate Gaius Baelsar's band of rebels and reclaim the data. Yes, you have done well, my dear. My engineers have already finished feeding it to the diamond weapon. Then all that remains is for me to assume my role as its pilot, and for you to release my brother and the rest of our compatriots as per our agreement. Of course, a handful of savages is a small price to pay for your remarkable talents. Even though the weapon project's revolutionary technology allows even an untrained pilot to fight with the skills of a veteran soldier, only the truly gifted can draw out the full potential of the uh, synthetic orosite. In addition to their physical attributes and combat prowess, I require unwavering loyalty before I can even consider entrusting a candidate with one of my creations, and you are everything I desire. I am honored that you regard me as so highly, Lord Valens. However, in return for my continued cooperation, I wish to propose an extra condition to our arrangement. Yeah. I request that the people of Rot be given full imperial citizenship and the right to self-govern. My, how very bold of you, and quite astute. At that, yes, I could grant the people of Rot citizenship if you so desire. Unfortunately, a mere legatist such as myself is no position to simply relinquish control of imperial territory on a whim. Come now. Oh, one moment. Come now. We both know that the weapons are but a means to an end. Your true intent is to march on the capital and claim it for yourself, correct? Once you have taken the throne, one small territory would seem a fair reward for those who played a vital role in the accession and of Emperor Valens. I say, for someone so sweet and innocent, you certainly drive a hard bargain. Very well, if it's world you want, it's yours. I'll soon have no need for this stinking backwater province anyway. And about my brother, what about my brother? I asked, Ulrich, or was it Alfred? Whatever his name is, you need worry. I made special arrangements for him. He'll be perfectly safe, provided you uphold your side of the agreement. Excellent. Now let's get you aboard the diamond weapon, shall we? Ah, one step closer to my coronation. This is the moment I've been waiting for. I know this isn't what Father would have wanted, but it's the only way. Please forgive me. Infiltrating the synthetic Orosite system. All sensors activated. So far, so good. Diamond weapon codename Xenos. Commencing activation sequence. Behold, perfection itself! Melisania, Rakun, and Rex gave their lives, that others may live without fear. The Arsa is taking hold. I'm just glad that you didn't have to go through this, Alphonse. But you'll have to go on without me. You and Father still must work together to... I'm sorry, I can't be there at your side. This is the only way. What's that, my girl? Is something the matter? The diamond map is mine. Your tyranny ends here, Valens. Born filth, if you think your little performance had me fooled, you are sorely mistaken. What are you waiting for? Shut it down. Yes, my lord. Transmitting deactivation signal. Oh. Ugh, it's not responding. The insolent whelp had me worried for a moment. Bring her to me alive. Even if it means damaging the machine, when I am through with her, she will beg for death. No, I can't let it end like this. Melisandre, Rykon, Rex, guide my hand. Alphonse, wherever you are, lend me your strength. This is combat sample. Ready. Infiltrating. Overmind. Subject name. Overmind? What is that? Ah! That can't be. It's ignoring this shutdown signal and initiating Overmind. But how? I don't care how. Stop that thing before it brings down the whole Chaosstrom. Oh shit. Were it not for you, I suspect Gaius would have ventured into world by himself, with little more than a gunblade for protection. Thank you for persuading him to take a less rash, less rash course of action. I was usually unable to save Melisandre, Rykon, and Rex. But there may yet be hope for Ali and Alphonse. Ready to depart. I'll send for Master Garland. We all expected another weapon to appear sooner or later, but not quite like this. According to Valdolin, after it finished laying waste to the headquarters of the 7th Legion, it took to the sky. Though this has dealt a massive blow to the Imperial forces, I am certain that Ali is on board the weapon. It must be halted before she comes to harm, and for that, I need the G Warrior and airship to transport it. I see that one thing hasn't changed since your days as the Black Wolf. Your perchance for gigantic war machine. But if this means the G Warrior has another chance to shine, I'd be happy to oblige. Only this time, rather than having it unceremoniously towed by airships, I have a more dramatic entrance in mind. It's good to see you again, Kira. From what I hear, we have you to thank for Avelina volunteering to help the ironworks. She has joined the team. Our work has come on leaps and bounds. I'm just grateful for the opportunity to finally put my knowledge and skills to good use. And as far as I can tell, your target is the diamond weapon, the most powerful of them all. What's worse, its design incorporates all the combat data and the abilities the of the other weapons, making it far more formidable than those you encountered before. Thankfully, we've had time to prepare for such an occasion. Would you care to elaborate? Let me put it like this. Thanks to Avelina's tireless dedication, the G Warrior has been reborn. But there'll be time to explain more on the way. Come, the Enterprise is waiting. Very impressive, but may I ask what purpose it serves? Since our objective is to rescue the pilot, we've added a means of capturing the diamond weapon. We come to save lives, not to end them. And for that reason, the G Warrior has been reborn. I present to you the G Savior. You're off to save Melisandre's foster siblings, Alphonse and Ali. Aren't you? Please do whatever you can to bring them back safely. While you and guys deal with the diamond weapon, I'll be doing my best to aid Valdonel's safe from return from Rolt. Hopefully, he's taking the advantage of the chaos to make good his escape. I'll be monitoring the situation from the Enterprise. Should things take a turn for the worse, I'll be ready to intervene. If you're heading for Turncliffe, just say the word. Nah. Let's do this. Once again, Sid and his engineers have provided precisely what we require before we even knew it ourselves. Due to the added complexity, we'll have Gaius pilot while Akira handles the various armaments. Agreed. There will be little opportunity for us to grow accustomed to our roles, but even so, we must succeed at all costs. The cloud deck now accessible. It seems the controls are the same as the previous iteration, though it has been some time since I last piloted War Machina of elegant origin. Lack of practice is no excuse for failure. Alright, we shall continue in the next episode. Till then, big fat tacos, a big fat tacos, a big fat tacos, a big... Farewell.